This is a free circuit diagram calculator running in a browser tab. No login, no install, no paywall to get an answer. Type in a couple of numbers, and it does the electrical math for you. The wire size, the voltage drop, the breaker, and cites the code rule it used. Then it pairs with a free editor, so you can draw the circuit those numbers describe. Let me show you the real calculators live with real worked examples. It's free at CircuitDiagramMaker.app. First, what this actually is, honestly. It's a small suite of electrical calculators built into the site. They run entirely in your browser. Nothing is uploaded, nothing is stored, and you never make an account to use them. You type inputs, hit calculate, and the answer appears instantly with the NEC code reference it's based on printed right next to it. They are core mode calculators, the everyday formula done correctly with the assumptions spelled out. The advanced knobs, derating, power factor, demand factors sit behind the paid plan. I'll be straight about that when we get there. But for the common jobs, the free tier gives you a real cited number. There are 5 of them. A wire size calculator, give it the load and the run length, it picks the conductor. A voltage drop calculator, give it a wire and a distance, it tells you how much voltage you lose. A breaker size calculator, the continuous load rule, done for you. A conduit fill calculator, and an electrical load calculator for sizing a service. We'll work through 3 of them properly. Size a wire, check a voltage drop, pick a breaker, and glance at the other 2. Same inputs you'd use on a real job. Everything here is free and needs no login, so you can follow along your own tab. The calculators live under the Tools menu, and there's a single landing page, CircuitDiagramMaker.app/diagrams/CircuitDiagramCalculator. That links them all together. Open one, and let's do the math. Start with the wire size calculator. This is the one people search for most. Here's a real example. A 120-volt, single-phase circuit, 20 amps of load, 100-foot one-way run, copper conductor, and I want to keep voltage drop under 3%. Type those in, hit calculate. Instantly, 8 AWG. Look at why. 20 amps alone would only need 12 gauge on ampacity, but over 100 feet, 12 gauge would drop too much voltage, so the calculator upsizes to 8 to stay under the 3% limit, and it says so in the warning. That's the formula doing 2 checks at once. Ampacity from the NEC 310 table and the voltage drop limit, and taking the larger of the 2. It cites NEC 310.16 right there. No table flipping. Now flip it around with the voltage drop calculator. Say you already ran 12 gauge copper for that same 100-foot, 20 amp circuit, and you want to know how bad the drop is. Enter 120 volts, 20 amps, 100 feet, 12 AWG. Calculate. 6.58% drop. Nearly 8 volts gone. You'd land at about 112 volts at the load. And there's the warning. That exceeds the recommended 3%. This is exactly why the wire size calculator pushed you to 8 gauge a moment ago. The 2 numbers agree. Honest note. This is the simple K method. Resistance times current times length, the DC approximation. It's right for most branch circuits. If you need power factor accuracy on a long feeder, that's the Pro Z method. The free number is the standard estimate, and it tells you so. Third, the breaker size calculator. And this one is a rule people get wrong. A 16 amp continuous load. You might reach for a 16 or a 20 and guess. Type 16 amps, mark it continuous, calculate. It returns, required 20 amps, use a 20 amp breaker. That's the NEC continuous load rule. Size the breaker to 125% of a continuous load. 16 times 1.25 is 20. It shows the required amps and the standard breaker size, and cites 240.6. The other 2 round out the set. The conduit fill calculator checks whether your conductors fit the pipe against the fill limit, a straightforward pass or fail. And the electrical load calculator totals your loads into volt amps and a service current. Both are basic in the free tier, a solid first pass number, not a stamped design, and I'd rather tell you that than oversell them. Here's what ties it together. Once the calculator gives you the wire and the breaker, you draw the circuit those numbers describe in the same free tool. This is the editor in the browser, no login. Real electrical symbols, wires that route themselves, and a live simulation if you want to check the circuit before you build it. The calculator gives you the sizes. The editor gives you the drawing. One free tab, both halves of the job, the math and the diagram. So plainly, why use a browser calculator instead of phone app or a paper table? It's free and there's no login. You get an answer before anyone asks for an email. It's instant. Inputs to result, no page reload. Every result carries the NEC code reference, so you can check the reasoning, not just trust a number. And it sits next to a drawing tool, so the sizing and the diagram live in one place. Fair limits, set out loud. The free tier is core mode. Derating, power factor, and demand factors are pro. For the common jobs, the free number is real and cited. For a stamped design, you still bring an engineer. So try it yourself. Size a wire, check the drop, pick a breaker, real numbers cited to the code, in about 10 seconds, no login. It's at CircuitDiagramMaker.app. The calculators are under tools, and a landing page is in the description. Free, no account, no credit card. Subscribe for a new electrical video every week. See you in the next one.